My name is Roxanne. I am an Ottawa artist. I've lived in Ottawa my entire life, and I love music. I love to perform, so I'm an active performer, and I'm also a singer-songwriter. So I love to write music. I love to produce music, and I like to play different genres of music as well. So write and compose and perform different genres. If nobody knows me, maybe you'll have a chance at some point to go and see a show whenever that's going to be opened up again. But if some of you have seen me, maybe you've seen me with different groups. Um, and yeah, so
So what groups are these?
yeah, so one of the longest groups that I've been with is called Nile Groove, and we are a reggae band. And we've been together for 8 years now, and we have a few albums that are out. And we're actually working in this pandemic on an album, which is really interesting. Not exactly maybe at the speed at which that it was planned, but we're trying. So Nile Groove is a reggae band, and we, enjoy performing. We were ready to go on tour. Of course, that had been canceled, like so many other musicians. But we're just going to keep it going and do what we can in this climate, of course. I also have another band which is called the Roxanne Project, and that's a neo soul band, and that's actually one of a newer band, and we were also starting to work on getting songs together for an album. So we're going to get back to that whenever we can. But our last show actually was at the House of Tar, like the Thursday right before everything closed up almost a year ago. So
Yeah.
that was my last show with that band. I also have my own kind of solo work. So I do dance, kind of like dance electronica, which is totally different. And I really love it. I enjoy it. And I have a few singles that are out, and also, you know, planning at some point to release my album. Uh, and
You're busy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also play with a cover band, and we're called Smashbox, and we do pop music and rock music, and kind of dance music. So I play as well with other bands, but these are my primary groups. So four in all, four different genres, different people in different bands, and it keeps things moving.
Definitely. You mentioned that you're still doing some recording during this time. How's that going? Is it any different or uh, is it as it used to be before?
Yeah, it was, so it is different in the sense that, and I guess in the sense, it's different and not different in the sense that I was really happy to be able to organize the recording when things opened up again. So right before the second wave, when things were still open. It was a little different, of course. You have your mask on, you're really far away from, your group and things like that. But, in kind of a typical setting, I guess, in a studio, we're still kind of further away anyway. So, I guess it was just a different vibe. You have to stay away from one another, when you had a really great take and you just want to be like, yes, and kind of like, and be closer in proximity to kind of share that moment. But luckily, we were able to record 4 songs, and then everything closed back for the second wave. So we haven't been at the recording studio since. Now things are opening up. So we're hoping to get back in there, as social distance, of course, and masks and all of these things, taking safety precautions, and just to continue to do as many songs as I guess we can, and hopefully hopefully we'll have that time to do that, and hopefully nothing will close up again. And if they do, well, then we'll just readjust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Also, I was just wondering, have you like had any quarantine projects that you've been working on? So new releases or videos?
Yeah, so it's funny. One project, which was not my own, but I was part of, it was a project. I think I was approached in March, so last March. So I guess it's almost been a year, and it was a single that is called "Ça va bien aller." So it's a French single, but on that single, primarily, even though there's a lot of French lyrics. There's also lyrics from, um, actually different languages. Now that I think of it, different languages, English as well, and it was interesting because when I was approached to basically sing a part and to create my part, so lyrics and melody, and I was actually singing the English part. I thought to myself, like, wow, this is great. We're collaborating, we're actually recording from our own homes, with no fancy equipment at all. We're just sending these tracks, and then someone's going to put it together. And I was just really excited to be part of this collaborative work from very far, especially that it was so soon in
Mhm.
the beginning of the pandemic that everyone was just trying to figure out how can we work at a
Yeah,
distance,
I think a
and
lot of
like
people have been doing the home studios and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And like we managed to pull it together and to have a beautiful single that really talks about hope. It talks about the pandemic itself, about the importance of social distancing. So I'm really proud of it. I'm really happy that I, again, was part of that. And there's a video as well, and the video was, at that same time. So we kind of took out our cameras and had like a self video and then sent it, and then someone did the collage on that, which turned out really, really great. So, and what's really crazy about that is that, I thought to myself, well, so the single's going to be released, and probably by the time it's going to be released shortly after, we'll have a chance to say, okay, the pandemic is over and done with. And sure enough, it's going to be almost a year.
hmm
And the song is just as, I guess the message is exactly the same. And it's just as important then as it is now,
yeah,
or, then and now. And so that was the first pandemic, I'll call it my first project during the pandemic, which was a really interesting thing to do. So check it out. Ça va bien aller. Everything will be all right. And I truly believe that. And I guess with all of this time, because as a musician, like you're busy and, we have these strange hours, and now all of a sudden you're kind of adjusting to regular hours and having more time. Um, so, I've been writing a lot of music. I generally always write a lot of music, but more so this time in the sense that it's been really reflective and introspective. And I think that the music that's going to come out of this pandemic is going to really maybe be a little bit different for most artists. Like for myself, normally I have, that like the solo album thing, or the solo work is like dance electronica music. It's like four on the floor. It's so like high tempo and high energy. And this time, obviously, because I think of everything that's been going on in our lives and just adjusting to this new normal, I think that it certainly for me, it has brought out, kind of these other type of feelings, these kind of a little bit of sadness and a little bit of like melancholy, and definitely, kind of like thinking back, and to like how life kind of used to be, but then also having some hope in there.
Yeah,
So currently I'm just, writing whatever comes out. But as I kind of analyze that, I can definitely see, that whatever I'm writing is definitely influenced by what I'm feeling,
yeah.
and kind of, yeah, and what
And
the
I'm sure
world
there's a
is,
lot of feelings going on throughout this time too, so I'm sure
yeah.
it brings up a lot more things to write about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm just happy that I have that outlet, at least to write music. I'm definitely missing performing, but, safety comes first. And we'll get back to that when we can. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, have you been performing any live streams?
I haven't yet. I actually performed when things opened up. I do remember I did have a show, and it was great. It was in a laneway. It was with Smashbox, the cover band, and the whole neighborhood where everyone was like in their own laneways, and it was super fun, or they were in their cars. So no live shows, like streaming, but one actual live show.
Actual show. And
Yeah,
this was in the
but
summer?
it was
Okay.
in the summer. Yeah. And so definitely, we're looking into kind of the live stream. I know that, Nile Groove, we've been talking about that, that we should just, get together and to live stream. I know that a few of our band members, live in the Gatineau area. So they, are just now in code orange,
Yeah,
so, they're now like out of curfew. So it really was really challenging and not really possible at that time. So I'm looking forward to it now.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's been very different, so I feel you.
yeah.
So I had one more question. I was just wondering, apart from music and writing, in the general sense, what do you miss the most since the set started? So since the whole quarantine and COVID started?
I miss people. I miss people. And like, sorry, my eyes crying. I'm not actually crying. My eye is just actually crying. I don't know. Or no, but I miss being with people. I miss the pace. Like, although I'm appreciating life at a much, much slower pace, I'm definitely missing that kind of high energy pace type of lifestyle, um, meeting, you know, again, just meeting people. I'm really missing practicing with, my fellow musicians. I feel that, musicians are, like they're my family, my extended family, and I miss them, and we miss making music, and, but it's all gonna be good.
Yeah, it's all gonna come
Yeah,
around for sure.
yeah.
So that's pretty much all I had
Hey.
as questions. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up or mention that we haven't spoken about?
No, I wanted to, sorry, my eyes are really crying. I don't know why, but I really I wanted to thank you for reaching out, and just to thank you for this. I think that this is really cool, and it's really great to have a chance to, talk to people and talk about music. So, um, yeah, I hope you well, and I hope everyone stays safe. And that's about all.
Thank you so much for joining.
Okay, thank you so much, Anita.